Dave was no ordinary college student. He was the prank genius of Eastwood University, known for his wild schemes and bigger-than-life ideas. Dave was always up to something. His latest brainchild? Stealing the world's largest pizza from the campus pizzeria, Papa's Pies. Dave didn't work alone. He had a crew of the quirkiest students you could imagine. There was Tiny Tim, who wasn't tiny at all, but a giant with a heart of gold. Then there was Slick Nick, the smooth talker who could charm his way out of anything. And of course, Brainy Becky, the tech whiz who could hack into any system. Together, they were unstoppable. They had pulled off pranks before, from filling the dean's office with balloons to turning the campus fountain into a giant bubble bath. They had done it all. But the pizza heist was going to be their biggest adventure yet. It was bold, outrageous, and downright hilarious. As they sat in their dorm room, pizza boxes scattered around, Dave laid out his master plan. The excitement in the air was palpable. They were ready to make history. The plan was simple, or at least it sounded simple. They would break into Papa's Pies after hours, swipe the colossal pizza, and make a run for it. But as with all great plans, the devil was in the details. They needed disguises, a getaway vehicle, and most importantly, a foolproof way to get past the security system. Brainy Becky got to work on the security system. She spent hours studying the blueprints of the pizzeria, figuring out the best way to disable the alarms. Meanwhile, Tiny Tim and Slick Nick worked on their disguises. They decided on pizza delivery uniforms, because who would suspect a pizza delivery guy stealing a pizza? Dave, ever the strategist, mapped out their route. They would sneak in through the back door, avoid the cameras, and make their way to the kitchen. Once they had the pizza, they would dash to the getaway van parked in the alley. It was a tight plan, but they were confident. As the night of the heist approached, the crew grew more excited. They rehearsed their roles, double-checked their equipment, and made sure everything was in place. This was going to be epic. The night of the heist was a moonless, quiet one. The campus was asleep, unaware of the chaos about to unfold. Dave and his crew assembled in the dorm room one last time. "Let's do this," they replied in unison. They moved like shadows through the empty streets, making their way to Papa's Pies. Becky hacked the security system with ease, disabling the alarms and unlocking the back door. One by one, they slipped inside, their hearts pounding with excitement. The kitchen was vast and dimly lit, the smell of pizza lingering in the air. They spotted their target immediately, an enormous pizza, the size of a dining table, sitting on the counter. It was a sight to behold. They couldn't help but stare in awe for a moment, but there was no time to waste. With military precision, they lifted the pizza and made their way to the exit. Everything was going smoothly until they heard a noise, a janitor making his rounds. Panic set in as they scrambled to find a hiding spot. S1, ready team? The janitor's footsteps echoed through the kitchen. The crew held their breath, hiding behind a stack of pizza boxes. The janitor paused, sniffed the air, and then moved on. They let out a collective sigh of relief. They resumed their mission, creeping towards the back door with the gigantic pizza in tow. Just as they reached the exit, the unthinkable happened. The janitor returned, this time accompanied by a barking dog. The dog spotted them and started barking furiously. S1, close call, shouted Dave, and they bolted out the door, pizza and all. The janitor yelled after them, but they were already sprinting down the alley. The getaway van was just around the corner. They could see it, but the dog was gaining on them. They piled into the van, panting and laughing. Slick Nick floored the gas pedal, and they sped off into the night, the dog still barking in the distance. They had done it. They had stolen the world's largest pizza. S1, run!
Hold on tight. Narrator, but their celebration was short-lived. As they drove through campus, they noticed flashing lights in the rearview mirror. Campus security had been alerted.
"We need a diversion," narrator shouted Nick, swerving the van to avoid being caught. The chase was on. The van zigzagged through campus, dodging security cars and curious students. Dave held the pizza steady, trying not to let it slide.
Becky had an idea. She pulled out her laptop and hacked into the campus PA system. "Attention students, free pizza in the quad."
Instantly, students poured out of their dorms, running towards the quad. The security cars were forced to slow down, weaving through the crowd. Taking advantage of the chaos, Nick made a sharp turn and headed for the dorms. They parked the van and unloaded the pizza, sneaking it inside just as the security cars sped past. They had pulled it off, but just barely. Back in their dorm room, the crew finally relaxed, laughing and high-fiving each other. They had done it. They had stolen the world's largest pizza and gotten away with it. The next day, the campus was buzzing with talk of the heist. No one knew who had pulled it off, but everyone was impressed. Dave and his crew became campus legends overnight. They were the talk of the town, their prank going down in history as one of the greatest ever. They basked in the glory, knowing they had pulled off something truly spectacular. But Dave wasn't done yet. As he looked at his crew, he couldn't help but grin. S1. So what's next? The crew laughed, knowing that with Dave around, there was always another adventure on the horizon. And thus, the legend of Dave and his crew continued, their pranks growing bolder and more imaginative with each passing day. They were more than just pranksters. They were heroes bringing laughter and excitement to Eastwood University. S1. So what's next?